Holy crap!
The CEO of Chase Bank last year pulled in $20.8 million. I hope he treats his employees very well. Which of course would fund 250 teachers with benefits.
How many teachers could Chase have paid for?
250 teachers with the cost of the CEO's salary.
Dear.
So doing the math, what does our society need more? A CEO of a big bank or 250 public school teachers? So also just overall, this is the U.S. corporate taxes in the U.S. Corporate tax rates have dropped. They had to pay a little more for the wars, and then now they're back to normal again. Down. Whereas middle class rates have eroded, middle class workers.
They look good now.
Yeah.
There's our education cuts coming across in Washington State this last year. Investing in early learning down 8.8%. Providing a high quality education to all students down 10.3%. Preparing adults for meaningful careers down 12.4%. Cultivating opportunities for higher education. All these things that we hear that we need to be doing and doing in public schools, down 17.2% in funding. And so we're wondering if it's so desperate and teachers need to be teaching and getting kids ready for college and so forth, why are the corporations not paying their fair share?
But Matt, it's a recession. There's nothing we could do about it.
I'll point us back over here again to this big guy here making $20.8 million. And even if he made $10 million and funded
one person making $20.8 million?
What's that, like 10 grand an hour? That's amazing.
Yeah,
Goodness gracious.
The president of this bank making $20.8 million?
$20.8 million.
So I just spoke with the branch manager and some of the employees, and they understand our concerns of Chase not paying their fair share of taxes, and they said they wanted us to leave, but I still haven't received the test back from them yet about who caused the economic crisis.
Are they having trouble with it?
I think they're having some trouble.
If they get 75% or more, we'll leave.
Okay.
Yes. A good teacher doesn't leave until all the tests are graded.
So I think they've called the sergeant to come talk to us. He's going to come soon. They seem like they're very patient, and when he comes, we'll talk to him directly. He's about 3 minutes away. So I'm going to check in and see how they're doing on the test, but maybe if you keep teaching the lesson, they might learn it and get the answers a little bit better.
We want everybody to pass the test.
Yeah, we want everyone to study up.
We want everyone to pass.
Let's help them cram for it.
Given the fact the recession doesn't seem to be affecting Chase, again, because right now in 2011 their profit margin is at a record 17.86%, higher than it's been in the last decade. You can see they had their ups and downs, and now it's just up. And so as far as the recession, middle class workers being laid off, teachers are being laid off, but Chase is doing fine. In fact, their profits are at a high point that they have been for 10 years.
Okay. Oh. We were waiting for the test to come in.
I'm sorry. Sergeant was ready. He'll talk to you guys about it. Okay.
Yeah, I know. You got kids in public school?
We know I don't. But I'm in unions. We're getting beat up too. Yeah, talking about it.
Yeah, we know it. We know it.
We're defending all unions. So you guys understand.
We're not against middle class workers, but we do have a business and they've asked.
Well, I could kick it down to less too.
Sergeant be here, he'll explain it all.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
You know, the CEO here pulled in $20.8 million. Enough for 250 teachers, probably 250 police officers.
I understand.
Also, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll go outside. We'll talk about it.
Well, I went to school for finance. So if you want some information?
Oh, I'm okay. Thank you.
Man, it's good. Really.
Yeah, it really is good. Great test too. You can steal
They
it.
sent the police in to clear them out, and they ended up staying with the protesters. You know, because like, wait, we're the union with our union brothers and sisters.
Yeah.
You know, we want to find some solidarity.
Okay, bro. Thank you.
Middle class workers, we got to stick together.
Just moments ago, a delegation of 10 teachers walked into the bank and set up a classroom in the lobby of the bank to teach a lesson on the recession. So
Not much.
Various graphs. We had charts and lesson plan that we set up and had teachers, including laid off teachers here in our district, explain who caused the recession. We went through and explained who got bailed out and who didn't get bailed out.
Not us.
And then we handed the bank manager a test. And on this exam, we have some very basic questions that we've asked the bank manager to be able to get back to us on.
Like what?
We asked him, who said the following quote, "There is a lot of money washing around the world, and obviously we are the beneficiaries of that."
Jamie Dimon!
Is it A history teacher at Garfield High
You're
School?
so smart. How'd you know that? You must have studied up.
Program at the
Wow.
Seattle schools, a nurse at Harborview Hospital, or D, Chase CEO Jamie Dimon?
Jamie Dimon!
In a little bit, I'm going to be going back into the bank to collect the answers, and I hope that he can pass the test. So we have a simple message out here today. If Chase Bank paid their fair share of taxes, if they paid their fair share of taxes, then my colleagues at Garfield High School would not be getting laid off. In fact, here today with me is Jerry Newfield-Kaiser, who was laid off last week. Often the bank tries to talk about the economy as if it was a natural disaster, and we know better. Who caused the recession? Right?
George
If the
Bush.
banks paid their fair share, then our kids at Garfield High School would not be having their math and science classes cut for seniors who now won't have the proper classes to be able to get into college. So we have a simple message here today. Chase Bank needs to pay their fair share of taxes so that we can go on providing education in Seattle and Washington State and across the country. So thanks everyone for being out here today.
Right. Yay!
Teacher layoffs, no thanks. Bailout
Schools, not the banks. Teacher layoffs, no thanks. Bailout schools and
Let's do it! One more time, you're great!
to the tax avoidance be forgotten and never brought to mind. Should tax avoidance be forgotten, unfairness you shall find. For schools and hospitals, my dear, for pensions and home care, for EPA and libraries, just pay your bloody share. Woo! That's a cool song. Woo! Woo!
And Representative Dennis Kucinich.
Yeah.
Hello, Seattle!
Hey!
I'm here in support of teachers who are valiantly working to educate the children of this area, and you represent teachers all across the country who are doing everything they can to make sure that the next generation is prepared for the challenges of the future. Your presence here today, outside of Chase, raises the issue, an important issue, about tax loopholes for banks that are actually a form of tax expenditures.
That's right.
Instead of spending money on education because of these tax loopholes, the state, unfortunately, ends up spending money on banks and other wealthy interests. Now, I've seen one figure that says that the kind of tax loophole they're benefiting from could yield as much as $186 million. The larger question is, what about Chase and other corporations who aren't paying taxes or aren't paying their fair share of taxes in this state, across the United States, and in Washington? We know, we've seen the reports, that the biggest corporations in America are not paying taxes. We know about GM, with great profits, not paying taxes. We know, paying $4 to $5 a gallon for gasoline, that ExxonMobil in the first quarter had $10.7 billion in profits, a 69% increase in their profits. We know the largest corporations have strategies to avoid paying taxes, to avoid paying a fair share of taxes. We know they offshore their profits, they outsource their labor, and they get tax subsidies, and they get bailouts, and they get free money from the Federal Reserve. We know that corporate profits have gone up, that corporate bonuses have gone up, that executive compensation has gone up, but we also know that there are about 14 million Americans who are out of work while this transfer of wealth is going to the top. The banks got money from the Federal Reserve, but they didn't invest it in the economy. They parked it at the Fed where it gained interest, and there are small businesses all around this country who are starved for capital. They want to put people back to work. They can't because they can't get money. The same bank that we're out front of here today is one of the problems. The same bank that looks today to try to avoid paying taxes in this state is part of the problem. We know that in D.C., what they're looking at as a solution, get this, they want to lower corporate taxes in Washington, D.C. In D.C. right now, there's people who want to make Medicare a voucher program, which means privatize Medicare. Let's hear it.
Yeah. Is that my buddy on the
We know that today in D.C.
Thank you, brother.
All right. King County Metro. All right. Let's hear it for the Bus Drivers Union. So at this time when corporate profits are going to the top, at this time when we have 14 million Americans out of work, over 10 million Americans have lost their homes, millions of Americans have lost their pension, instead of addressing the economic issues here at home, unfortunately, our government is spending billions, hundreds of billions, and even trillions of dollars on these wars in Iraq, Afghanistan, and over Libya. It is time for America to start focusing on what we need here at home. It starts with education. And it continues with health care, and it continues with ensuring retirement security for our seniors. It's time to come home, America. It's time to stand with workers and families struggling to survive. It's time to focus on Chase. And let me say, your presence here today, this is essential. Because what we have is people who will put their money into Chase, but we also have Chase using tax loopholes to avoid putting money into the state that would help to fund education. In effect, what we have is a condition here, because these corporations are paying their fair share, we end up with teachers getting pay cuts, teachers getting laid off, class sizes increasing, students' educational opportunities decreasing all over America. Teachers are under attack.
That's
in my state of Ohio, teachers are under attack, and I'm proud to have stood with them there.
Thank you.
All over America, teachers are trying to stand with all workers in saying that it's time that we protect collective bargaining. It's time that we understand that wages and benefits are a key collective bargaining issue.
Thank you.
And we're not going to let that be lost.
Yeah, that's right.
All across America, it's important to resist this attack. And some people will say, well, you know, this is a fiscal issue. Well, wait a minute. This is a moral issue. Not a spending crisis. This is a political issue, not a spending crisis, because there are choices that are being made here and around the country. I want to say that this focus on Chase is important because it's corporations like Chase where public policy is influenced and even made. It's corporations like Chase that necessitate a movement of people from everywhere. And so I say that the movement for economic justice starts right here on 45th Street outside Chase.
Right on.
The movement to close corporate loopholes starts right here. The movement for a referendum to eliminate special corporate tax breaks with a simple majority in the legislature starts right here. The movement to regain control over public policy starts here. The movement for social justice starts here. The movement to regain control over all legislatures across the country starts here. The movement for teachers' dignity starts here.
That's right.
We know that we're at a point in the history of this country when it's important for people to band together, and that it's important for workers to band together. The movement to stop teachers' layoff starts here.
That's right.
The movement for ensuring quality education for all children starts here. We are together as representatives of working people, and I'm in a union myself. We are together as representatives of working people to say we are going to chase out fear, we are going to chase out greed, we are going to be on the march, and you are all we need. This is our moment. Let's continue standing up. Let's continue speaking out. Let's make education a top priority. Let's save our children's future, and let's protect the teachers who are only trying to do the job that they were educated to do. Let's stand up for our teachers, stand up for the labor movement, and stand up for Seattle. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Fix the deficit!
Tax, tax, tax the rich!
Fix the deficit!
Hi everybody, good morning. My name is Jerry.
Jerry.
I teach at Garfield High School. I teach history. My kids call me Mr. NK. I'm kind of outraged this morning, and I'm also kind of embarrassed to be here because I'm one of the teachers that got laid off last week. Thanks for coming out this morning to say, I agree, this is not right. I teach with Jesse Agopian. Jesse spoke a few minutes ago. He's here today too, and he's one of our organizers. Jesse's one of the good teachers. He works really hard. His kids are glad to be in his classroom. Their parents are glad to have him. The kids who, this year, right now, the kids are asking, hey, how can I get in Jesse's class next year? The legislature in Washington State right now is considering additional budget cuts, and if they cut what they're considering, Jesse's the next one to get laid off. That's not good for America, it's not good for Seattle, it's not good for our kids, it's not good for the system, it's not good for any of us. I'm one of the good teachers too. My kids like me, their parents like me. They ask, hey, what are you teaching next year? Can I be in your class? I don't know what to tell them. It's sort of embarrassing. I say, well, we'll see. The thing is, this is not some calamity that falls out of the sky that we can't do anything about. These are decisions that our society is making. Teachers aren't expensive. That's not the problem. We got plenty of money. Our society is awash in money, but what do we spend it on? We spend it on bombs, and we spend it on bailouts, and we don't spend it on schools. These are our own kids. Private prisons. It's our own future. So I'm disheartened at the way the system works right now. I take it personally because that's me right there, not getting to come back next year, and I'm disappointed. And I hope Jesse can come back because he's good and our school's better because of him. And I'm outraged at the way things go. It doesn't have to be this way. We could choose to change it if we want. We're in control here, not the bank. We could change the tax law if we wanted to. We could bring the boys back home if we wanted to.
Yeah. And the girls.
Coming out today, I hope that today can be a step towards changing these bad decisions that we're making so that our society is better, so that we can take care of each other better and our own kids better. Thank you, guys.
We put all the signs up to make it as easy as possible to pass the test. So it shouldn't have been that hard. We could give hints. If there's any questions, the officer said we can come in. We appreciate you, and hopefully, if you need to get in touch with me for the payment due, I work at Garfield High School. I'm sorry to report that our local bankers have not passed the test. If we had cut summer school, I'd recommend that they come to summer school. Public schools had to cut summer school because of the lack of funds. So we're going to have to come back to Chase Bank with a more extensive lesson plan and see if we can educate them on the failure of them to pay state bank taxes and the impact that that's having on our education. They immediately said they would call the police rather than engage in discussion on the answers to the test questions.
Then we put them in foreclosure!
Foreclose on the bank. I was able to deliver them a notice of payment past due, which the bank manager accepted.
They just locked the doors.
I let them know the banks. They just locked the bank?
Yeah.
We shut it down?
Shut Chase down! 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 Shut Chase
We have a couple more people that want to speak. We thank everybody here who was able to come and help us shut the bank down. They just locked the door. Business is not open here because teachers and educators and students and community members who want a decent education have made their voice heard. And we are now going to hear from a couple more people who have a message for you.
Hi, my name is Chris Mobley. I'm an activist here in Seattle with the International Socialist Organization. I think this is awesome today that we're able to show the power of people to actually take on corporations like Chase Bank that receive billions of dollars in bailouts while teachers are laid off across the country. I think it's important to note, though, this isn't just about Chase. This is about an entire economic and political system internationally that is making us, working people, pay for their crisis that they created. In this state, they have a $4.6 billion budget deficit. What's the politicians and the rich answer to that question? Not tax the wealthy like what we want to do. It's lay off 1,500 teachers statewide. If you were a student in the state public education, in the university education system here, if you go to the University of Washington just a mile and a half down the road, but if you enrolled during the last presidential election, by the time that the next presidential election rolls around next year, your tuition has gone up by 56%. Nationally, in Congress, the Republicans and politicians of both parties are talking about how much to cut from the future of Social Security, from the future of Medicare, from the future of Medicaid, from the Department of Education, from the Department of the Environment. No discussion at all about cutting the wars, cutting the funding for the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan and Libya. No discussion about stopping the bailouts for the banks and the wealthy. Millions of people today are protesting in Spain in defiance of a government, of a ban on protests there against the austerity budgets there. Millions protested in Greece. Millions more protested in the United Kingdom against the same crap the politicians and the rich are shoving down our throats. Are you guys angry and sick and tired of this stuff? I'm sure as hell angry too. And it's not just us today. Just yesterday, friends of mine at the University of Washington were arrested in an occupation sit-in against known union buster and human rights abuser Sodexo Corporation provides us crappy hot dogs at Huskies games. Which to be a crime in and of itself beyond other helpful things. millions of people tuned in to see what the battle over the future of the labor movement in Wisconsin just weeks ago. Hundreds of thousands of people across this country have been protesting in every state capital against the budget cuts. Teachers just in Sacramento last week occupied the State House there. And many more, not just in this country, but around the world, are protesting. In Egypt, they overthrew a dictatorship. In Spain, they're protesting today. In the United Kingdom, they protested for weeks and are promising strikes against their government. So I think this is something that's really important to point out, is that for decades and decades, the rich have been committing a one-sided class war against us. And it's about time that we start to fight back.
If late February I had a chance to go on out to Madison, Wisconsin, in the Seattle Education Association, we passed a resolution supporting the teachers and workers out there fighting against Scott Walker and those teabagging morons out there. And I went out there, I slept in the Capitol, I met with tons of teachers, and it was amazing to me. Most people there were resigned that the bill would pass. They had a feeling they would go down to defeat. But I was shocked by how confident they were. They were confident because finally they were fighting back. They had enough. Teachers there in Wisconsin, they went on a week-long a strike essentially, and hundreds of thousands of people came out to support them. That's right. They said, enough is enough. We're not paying for your crisis. You can't do this to us anymore.
You're rich.